But today we thought we would talk about losing our cool.
I don't want to talk about that.
Crikey.
That's what we're going to talk about.
That is exactly what we're going to talk about. When you go from 0 to 60 in terms of rage in a split second because the kids just got under your skin at the wrong moment and everything from your day just came out and you let it out at your kids and you feel like crap.
Have you read that book, Calm Kids?
No.
Calm Parents, Happy Kids. I've read that
one. There's calm parents out there.
I've tried. Do you know? It's just so hard. There are so many reasons, and there's no one thing that ends up in an explosion.
Yeah,
with me,
it's lots of things.
Oh my gosh! Sometimes it just grinds me down. It's the monotony of. For me, I think single parenting, and I haven't been doing as much work recently. I've been focused on the kids, and it's just 24 hours a day of the same thing every day. And there are times when you're just doing everything for these 3 little people, and you get that tiny bit of back chat, or tiny bit of just ungratefulness, or I don't want that meal, and you just think, oh my God, I've just wiped your bottom, tidied your room, done your washing, cleaned the work surfaces, and made you dinner, and you don't want it.
And you want to wallop them, and you don't. But obviously you don't know, but you can see how it happens. You can see how a parent loses their rag to the point that they do that. And I think most of us can keep ourselves in a rational place. And you have to step out. You have to leave that room. And I will do, I think I've mentioned it before, I've gone and put myself on the naughty step to a certain degree, where I've needed to just I needed them to be in a different room to me. And that sounds awful.
Close the door.
And we need to just precurse this with, we adore our children. We love our children. That is not in question here. And we are grateful for our children. That's not the question here either.
Don't overdo it, love.
We love them. We love them so much. No, we do. But that doesn't stop someone from losing their rag.
But it's not just with the kids, is it? If you were living with anybody,
finding a
perfect relationship. Yeah. Oh God, I've got pen all over my hands.
Yeah.
Story of your life. Doing homework last minute this morning. Living with anybody is going to wind you up. Living with anybody,
just having people in your space
all that time, but when you're doing everything for that person that you're living with as well, and you can't blame them. Of course they're going to have a bad day. We all have bad days. I have bad days, quite a few bad days every month, of course that's going to come out and it's going to irritate the people around you. So I just don't know how you could have a relationship that's not a little bit fraught some of the time. And it's just really, really hard. I think the question, we've been talking to each other and wondering, God, how do you deal with it? And
I don't think
is it okay? I think
it is okay.
It's okay.
It's not. Okay. No, of course, it's not okay to shout at your kids. It's okay for it to happen and for you to move past it. You say sorry. You make sure that they get that hug and love and know that you're their happy, safe place and all of that. But we can't beat ourselves up about it. If this is happening all the time, if you're yelling at your kids all the time, then perhaps you need to consider some extra help, extra backup or something. You need to step back and look at the whole situation and go, okay, why am I yelling at my kids that much?
But
why am I losing it so much?
Finding extra help, that might be a mental health thing. Because I know when I had postnatal depression, my switch was flipped so much easier and quicker, and I just couldn't cope with things that I can normally cope with. And I know when I was down, everything that was small seemed so much bigger to me. So, if the kids were just making my life difficult, and they enjoy winding you up in the same way they enjoy winding each other up. They know when they can, this is getting a good reaction of mummy. And especially if they're tired as well. And I know that when I had postnatal depression, I definitely shouted at my kids more than I would normally. And I've got 3 boys. I cannot get through life without shouting at these boys, because boys they might as well have headphones on the whole time, because my vocal frequency is just
I
not
do think that's a boy thing, unfortunately.
It's unbelievable.
Tilda does the same thing, and I can be going, Tilda, hello, and I'm properly I have to wave at her sometimes. And Ivy, I can see she can hear me. You know what?
She does it with a smile on her face.
You can hear her. She does side eye. She hears her name, and she'll be ignoring me, and then she'll just go.
She really does.
She really does. And then she's pushing it, and sometimes that makes me laugh. And to be fair, that at least stops me from yelling at her. But I do think that sometimes I have taken on too much, and I've let my stress come out on the kids. And I really felt that in the run up before Christmas. In the last few months before Christmas, I had too much work on. Too much, we had videos, we had Channel Mum, I was working at QVC, and I think part of it was guilt as well. I didn't feel like I was giving the kids enough time, and then I'd yell at them and then think, oh my God, the time you have got with them, you're now being a bitch. And I really had to go, okay, you know what? They've got to start coming first. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I can't remember who it was with actually, and they said that they had said to their husband, when you say yes to them, as in work, just remember you're saying no to us. And that hit me in the face like a wet fish. And I did think, oh God, that really is so, also it's so true. And they've got to come first, really. And you do kind of forget.
But also the flip side of it is, sometimes they have to know that they don't come first. And I am a believer in the fact that, going back to my broken marriage, one of the things that I really regret is not putting each other first and always putting the kids first. And they never saw us prioritise each other. And sometimes some of my closest moments to the kids are when I have lost my temper. And I have just been so tired, and I've had so much going on in my head, and I've been worried about work and worried about my relationship and trying to get stuff right. And then one thing makes you lose your rag. And then sometimes, for me to break down and cry in front of the boys and say, I'm so sorry, boys, I'm really, really sorry, but I am trying my hardest to do the best for you and to be the best mum and to give you the best life I possibly can. And to do this, I have to work. I can't, I'd love to not have to work. I'd love to not have to spend my time doing chores. I'd love all of these things, and you can't. And so sometimes I get tired, and sometimes I'm not okay. And I think it's fine for kids to see the cracks sometimes, because otherwise they're going to grow up thinking that life's great.
Yeah.
And if you had Wonder Woman as a mum, it would be amazing, because nothing would ever go wrong. But what kind of adult would you turn out to be? You've got to be able to see the cracks. You've got to be able to see that it's okay to cry, and you've got to be able to see that it's okay to say sorry. And I do say sorry to my kids, and I used to say sorry to my husband as well when I lost it. And then I'd get criticised for being grumpy and short-tempered. And it's okay to turn around sometimes and say, I'm just tired. And there is the main problem with being a parent. Lack of sleep. Oh my God. It's a form of torture.
It is.
In some countries.
It's definitely one of the things that really is, I think most people would put it down to. It's not just stress. Stress comes sometimes from being tired, or, it all comes back to having a decent night's sleep. The nights where we've had a full night's sleep, we come downstairs singing like we're in a bloody Disney film or something. And it's amazing. It makes such a difference. But everyone is in a rat when we've had a bad night's sleep. Like this morning, we'd had an awful night's sleep, and that was that. We were all, Fred and I were snapping at each other. Yeah, I think look after ourselves too. We need to drink less during the week. We're already really trying to fight the wine in the week, which we've been quite guilty of. And those are other things. You're fuzzy in the morning, and then then you're snappy.
But then there's a counter argument to that as well, which is, you
need that adult time.
A nice, relaxing glass of wine in the evenings.
But it's basically self-medicating, isn't it?
Team wino here.
Yeah, I know, team wino. Yeah, but it is. It's self-medicating, isn't it? What is it really just dulling the issue that's there, or
I think it's doing things to make you happy? And if kind of taking away stuff that makes you happy is hard work, then that's not a great thing. It's everything in moderation, isn't it? We all need more sleep. And yes, sometimes you've got to try and think around that. I cannot go back to bed in the day. Yeah. Even if I haven't got a job to do. I've always got a job to do. I don't think I ever run out. But so I thought maybe setting myself a goal of reading a chapter of a book every day. Yeah. Whether it's at bedtime or whether... Because the thing is, I think being self-employed as well, you don't take a lunch break. So you don't go into an office and do a certain amount of work and then have a lunch break, do your afternoon of work, and then leave and not have to think about work till you clock on at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock next morning. Being self-employed, you're always working. Yeah. And especially with, YouTubing and stuff like that, you can be on your social media at 11 o'clock at night and it's working, and you can justify it in your head as that. But it actually never stops. Yeah. There is no lunch break, because normally you'll be doing a lunch break and making sandwiches for the kids at the same time for after school, or, it's just non-stop. Yeah. And we have got to, you're right, look after ourselves a bit more.
Be kind just to ourselves. Yeah.
Find a way of giving yourself 5 minutes.
I think that's the bottom line. The bottom line is that, okay, no, it's not okay to shout at your kids, but, it is okay. Everybody does it. I don't know anyone that doesn't yell at their kids. I think most people do it.
Someone's going to write on this video.
Go, I don't. I'm an angel. Bing.
I never.
Well done. Well done to you. Well done. I'll sing you a song. You're amazing.
Tell us how you do it.
Yes.
It's not just well done.
And also,
tell us.
I call BS. I don't believe it. I think that.
What?
I don't believe it. I said I called BS.
What's that?
Bullshit.
Oh.
Yes.
Beep, beep,
beep, beep. I don't believe it that there's no one that hasn't lost their rag in some way, their children. I mean, what do you do? And what do you do? Do you just go and scream into a pillow somewhere? Maybe that is what you do.
Just not scream. I mean,
are you going quietly loopy inside, and then one day you're going to just do something nuts?
Kids
run riot.
It's like a hippie thing.
It's like a hippie thing.
Are you a hippie that doesn't shout?
Is that what it is? Is it a hippie thing? I don't know.
And there is a massive difference from child 1 to child 2 as well.
Oh God,
I'm not blowing the I've got 3 kids trumpet, but every kid you have, you get a little bit closer to shouting, a little bit quicker. Yeah. Just because you're juggling the whole time. So baby number 1, every time I had a tricky moment with him, even when I was really tired, I had that patience because I could sit down with him on the naughty step one-on-one, and we could talk through what he'd done that made me feel sad inside. And that's how I used to deal with things. And it was generally this level. And then I had baby number 2, and it just went up to this level because I had to get 2 kids to the front door. And then you have baby number 3, and it just...
It's funny because some days when I've had a full day of work and I come in, it can feel quite stressful, and I could feel that potential for switch flipping. Sometimes I've been at work all day and I've had a great day and I've loved it, and I've swanned in, and Fred's in the middle of bedtime and he's losing his shit left, right and centre. I will be the one that can go, it's all right, it's okay. Can why don't you just go downstairs for a minute? And because I haven't had it all day, I can actually see it from a completely different perspective and go, it's all right, I can do calm voice, this is fine.
And they can probably feel that from you as well. They can probably feel that you're coming in calmly. Yeah. Whereas Fred had just had enough.
Yes, and he can't deal with it. And he does flip quicker than I do. I'm not saying that's because I'm better than him. I'm just saying, he's just his personality. But I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I think sometimes it's just that taking a step back. And if you have felt that you've shouted at your kids, make sure you do leave the room for a minute just to calm down, count to 10, do whatever it is. And then do apologise. You've got to say sorry to them, but explain why you lost your cool. I think that's really important too. And they should understand that it's because you were tired, because maybe they woke you up a lot last night. I'm not saying put the blame on them, just helping make them understand all the factors as to why. Maybe you've asked them something 10 times and go, listen, Mummy asked you to pick up your shoes 10 times and you didn't do it.
I tell them that. I've had to ask you 10 times. So yes, I had to shout. And they still don't do it. Still takes me 10 times the next time. And there is a perfect parent. Maybe even the hippie parent that doesn't ever shout. you know, maybe that's not great for kids as well. They need boundaries, and sometimes, you know, they're going to go to school and they're going to have to do what they're told, and they're going to have to work out how to work in a controlled environment. And we set boundaries for our kids for a reason, because it is good for them, and we've got to teach them stuff. So, yeah, I'm not saying shouting's right, but I think it can be forgiven. I think it's okay. Is that okay?
Well, we could go round in circles and circles on this one, but please do let us know what you think. And have you found a perfect way to get round it, where you don't get to that point where you shout? Do you know your trigger is coming and you know how to step out of the situation before you do it? Or, just if you've got any amazing tips, please let us know.
Or if you know the perfect parent, tag them under this video, because I want to know what the secret is to perfect parenting. Please like us, subscribe to us, and follow us on social media. Bye!